Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Emilia Pérez. And this movie came out in 2024, and it's currently on Netflix if you want to see it. And this movie is directed by Jacques Aldouad. I have no idea how to pronounce his name. The same director as The Sisters Brothers, and I really love The Sisters Brothers. I would totally watch that again. And this movie is more of a drama, crime thriller musical, and I know what you might be thinking. How is that type of film going to work? And somehow they pulled it off. I really enjoyed this movie. I really enjoyed the music and the musical numbers. I thought they were pretty strong for the most part. I'll get into that a bit more later. The movie was well shot throughout, and although there's no shots in this movie that were like exceptional to me, it's not to say that this is a bad looking movie at all. And the only reason I kind of mentioned that as somewhat of a criticism is because this movie is nominated for, I believe, 12 Oscars. And I just thought, yeah, I don't know if I would give this movie best cinematography. But going back to my positives, there were some cool sound design choices. There's a point where a character gets a bag over their head, and you can kind of hear like just them breathing through the bag. I thought that was like really cool and effective. The performances were really good, and I really liked Zoe Saldana in this movie, and I thought she was going to be in the movie a lot more, but then the middle of the movie happens, and we kind of switch to the other character becoming more of a protagonist. And then it kind of just turns into somewhat of a two main leads in a way. And it's kind of weird that Zoe Saldana, speaking of the Oscars, that she's nominated for Best Supporting Actress, even though it's more of a lead role. I don't exactly know how that's measured in the Oscars. It's kind of like two main characters in my eyes. And Selena Gomez, surprisingly, was good. I was worried as to whether or not she would ruin this movie, but she does a good job in this film. There were some interesting creative decisions sprinkled throughout the film. That's also something that I enjoyed, and it kept me going throughout most of the film. And my only big criticism with this movie is that the first 10 minutes are a bit awkward, and I was like, what is this? It didn't really sell me on the idea of this being a musical with like the first couple of songs. And also, when watching this movie, just keep in mind when this movie is sold to you as a musical, it really means that, because there's like 20 songs throughout the entire film. I actually don't know how many exactly, but that's what it felt like, at least. Like there's two songs that characters sing in the first 15 minutes. And there was a little bit of inner monologuing in this film that I could do without. But it was only in the first 10 minutes, and for me, that's the worst part of the movie, is that it was just an awkward, kind of clunky opening. I wish that it kind of eased to the musical numbers a bit better. This movie did kind of remind me of Joker Foley Ado, and this is more of like what I wanted from that movie. And I can understand it, people not really being sold with this movie being like kind of somewhat slow paced and over 2 hours long, and I can see some people saying that it's too long. I wasn't bored by this movie at all, to be perfectly honest. But I can see some people feeling it being too slow. Because The Sisters Brothers, it's not like a fast paced movie, that film. But I don't feel as though it's dragged on for too long, at least not from memory. And going back to one positive that I did have with this movie is that I did enjoy what this movie explores. And it doesn't keep you on edge in the traditional sense. And I'm not going to say what that is necessarily for those who are unaware of what I mean by that. But this movie does a good job at keeping you engaged with the characters. And it's easy to care about the characters in this film, or at least find them interesting, because there's a lot going on. So I would definitely recommend that you check this movie out, and I would say this movie is somewhat underrated in a sense, because people don't really seem to really connect with this movie. On IMDb, it's 7.3, and Letterboxd is 2.5 or 2.4. I think it was one of those two last time I checked, so I would call this movie underrated for the time being. Who knows, maybe that'll change once we get to the actual Oscars themselves, or within a couple of years. But That's just how I feel currently, and do check this movie out, and I do think it's so worth watching. So, with all that being said, I'm going to give Emilia Pérez an 8 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of Emilia Pérez, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Heretic. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.